Hi, I'm Eleftheria and I'm a community manager. Today I'm going to answer some questions regarding community management and developer advocacy. Let's get started. Regarding the KPIs and the metrics that I'm most interested in, these are the engagement metrics. And when I say engagement, I mean things such as active members in social media. So we'll check how many people we have, maybe even daily, but if not daily, like at least 4 or 5 times per week. And I'll write down somewhere the metrics so I know how we are advancing and how we are growing. And except of that, I will also check the number of comments, the number of research reposts, or how many people are, attracted to this post or something. And then the other KPI that I will look at is the growth metrics, and this is more about the community. So how fast the community is growing over time. Do we have new signups? Do people drop off for some reason? And all this kind of stuff. And I guess the third thing that I like to check is this time specific to content. So we have content not only on social media but also on blogging platforms like Medium, Dev2, Hashnote, etc. Our own blogging platform, like I work at Crab Nebula. You can check it, crabnebula.dev, and we have a blog there. So I will check the views, I will check how much time people spend there, and the other blogging platforms can give you more statistics, so I would also look into that. And a good tip here is that if you can find and identify the good content, then you can ask your writers, your bloggers to write more similar content, because it means that people and your audience loved it. What else do I like to look? Maybe the response time. I mean, if you have a support system, it's kind of crucial to always try to respond as fast as possible, but not only as fast as possible, but as accurate as possible as well. So I would check the KPI of the time, the responding time, plus the accuracy. And the last thing is probably convention metrics. So here I mean things such as, do you sell something? Okay, how are the purchases? Or maybe do you have an online event? Did people bought tickets, and how are these numbers? You can compare it to the previous times, you can compare it to similar events. This is also an important one. And okay, I have one more. So the last one is probably if you have some feedback metrics. So if you have surveys or polls, you should also check that and find out what people like. I feel this one is a bit tricky. The first one is lack of engagement. So how do you deal with that? I would say start posting again, and start posting with consistency and having a plan on your mind. You can just start posting and expect people that will go back into that. But if you post with consistency, and if you post content that has to do something with your company or the thing that you're trying to promote, to sell, whatever, I think this can really help. So another thing is go back to the active members, go back to the people you know, maybe you used to talk with them more, send them a DM and say, hey, we have this community, do you want to start again participating in this? They will know your community since they used to be members, and it will be nice for them, because if they used to participate in your community, it means that they used to like your content. So you could start with that, but also get in touch with new people and ask them to join your community. You can mention to them what you are planning to post there, or in general what your plan is, or why do you want the community. It's nice to explain that to your people. Maybe when people are starting to engage with each other, you should also take part in their conversation. You should try to support them. Maybe you could create some connections between those people, but of course you should try to keep the candle with light. The best practices, in my opinion, is firstly create valuable content. I talked before about consistency, but it's not only consistency, it's about having something to post, that you don't post it only for the sake of posting, but there is some value to that. Developers like technical things, so I would suggest focusing on that. Even if you are not such a technical person, because maybe you're a community manager that doesn't really know much about tech, you could ask developer advocates or people outside of your company. Maybe they would like to write something, they would like to share something, or you could even get some tutorials, do some courses and educate yourself as well. And in that way you would be able to have some valuable content. But except of that, I would also say, again, actively engage with your community. If they have some questions, if they have some queries, you could answer them. You could be accurate with your answers and you could reply to them fast. The other really cool thing that, again, I like to do is organizing mini events. So you could organize a live stream, a Twitter space, a webinar, a seminar, whatever you're most comfortable with, and share some content there, some valuable content there. You could ask other people again to create some content and they can share it in your online meetup or however you want to call it. This is really cool, and I know developers love doing this kind of stuff. Sometimes at first they can be a little bit shy, but if they start doing it, then I guarantee they will love it. I think the last one would be to listen and actively try to figure out solutions for your people and adapt in their feedback. So asking feedback is something, again, really important, and you could do it in multiple ways. You could go to social media and ask, hey, do you have some feedback for my company? Would you like to see anything else from our social media or from our blog? Or you could go to your Discord community or Slack community, whatever you have, and ask there for their feedback. They will appreciate it, and if they see that you really take care of the stuff they told you, the people will appreciate it even more. Again, I feel that this question is a little bit tricky because yes, it is hard, and the DevRel teams sometimes they can face some issues. I feel that the biggest one is finding a balance between the technical things that they are doing, and they want to help, of course, the company, but it's not only the company, you have a community and the community wants support. So I feel that this is the trickiest part, finding that sweet point, that balance, that everyone, both the community and the company, will be happy, because you cannot have only one of them, you need both of them. So I would say in this case that you should try to be open and communicate openly and with transparency. And if you transfer both ways in a nice way, so if you transfer what the company wants to the community and what the community wants to the company, things should be easier. It's not very easy, but it should be at least easier. I feel that the relationship between these two, let's say, groups are very tight. They kind of need each other and they should have each other. From one hand, the developer advocates, they focus a little bit more, at least from my experience, they focus a little bit more on technical things, so creating documentation, tutorials, maybe videos. So we need all of those stuff, and that's amazing. But from the other hand, the community managers will create the community, will engage with the community, will try to find new people for their community. And when they have that community, they also need the content from the developer advocates. That's why I feel that both of this group of people, they need each other. And again, in my opinion, I feel that a company should have both the developer advocates and the community managers. And I would even dare to say that the community manager should have some technical background, because it will be easier for them to pass this content to their community. So if they have like a CS degree or something like that, they don't have to have a degree, like maybe even watching some tutorials and creating some cool content, then they can educate themselves, and then they can pass the documentation, all the other things that the developer advocates have built to their amazing community.